Hey folks, walk with me. Well, I don't know if you've noticed, but I've noticed a tremendous change, maybe we could even call it a glitch, in Elon Musk since, say, 2020-ish or so. I think we have some good idea of what happened in 2020 that seemed to have melted or blown up so many people's minds, and it seems to have affected him in a particular way. I remember prior to that being very sort of enthusiastic and drawn to his personality, when he seemed like he was just a bit of this quirky, very deep into his what was it called? Zip2, his first company, and then PayPal, and then Tesla and SpaceX, and it was sort of interesting to have somebody like that at all, but then to have somebody like that who was also willing to kind of go out there and speak and have a bunch of media out there that you could then consume on podcasts or YouTube or whatever. And I don't know, there was an element to him that almost gave me a sense of hope that, oh, thank goodness this person is here with us. This could be a really cool next 30 or 40 years or whatever. And then when 2020 came along, and there seemed to be this shift to like fanatical capitalism, very anti-establishment, very fixated on this idea that there was, or that there is still today, a woke mind virus and a woke mob that are coming to get you. And maybe I'm in my own particular bubble. I don't know. I don't see that, really. I know the period of time when there was all of that stuff going down. Cancel culture seemed sort of unstoppable, and there was all of this new terminology that was coming out and various maturations with, embedded in society. And it felt a little bit like, I don't really know what's happening here. Like, something's definitely changing. But to a degree, I feel like there was an extreme push there, and there has been some pushback. And at least my sense of like, whoa, like someone's hair is on fire here, right? Like something is getting burned to the ground. To me, that sense has dwindled. I don't really see the woke mob going after people, which makes me think maybe there isn't a woke mob. If it's not going after people, what else would a woke mob do? The woke mind virus, I'm not exactly sure what that's meant to purport, but the degree to which, let's just stay on Elon, I guess, is this bastion of this free speech absolutist, which can be empirically proven untrue. But even if that's the case, if there is this woke mind virus, well, how does it manifest? It manifests in thoughts, ideas, actions, and words, right? And so wouldn't those things, all ideas, actions, words, all fall under First Amendment free speech, and therefore then just be something that people are thinking, feeling, talking about, acting on, that could then be debated, discussed, and some conclusion come to? it feels like, and I understand him pushing back against it could be that, but it seems more like he wants to annihilate it, and the annihilation of ideas and of people coming forth and voicing thoughts and reasons and whatnot. I don't know. To me, that sounds like suppression, not open exploration of debate. And this has just become so apparent, and now even more so with him buying then Twitter, now X, and just seeming to be just insistently bent on amplifying the voices that he wants to amplify and subduing the voices that he wants to subdue, and amplifying by far mostly his voice, right? It seems as though, from what I can tell, the main goal here is to get his posts to the top of everyone's feed every time that they open the app or log in. And I mean, I'm sure he thinks that his thoughts and actions and whatever are the greatest, right? And he's bought his own whatever propaganda around saving humanity. But even if that's the case, there still should be other voices in the room. And it just seems like that's not really the direction that he's moving it in. And so instead of being this cool, quirky, like mostly interested in the science element of things and bringing forth really innovative ideas, it feels that he's now mostly fixated on becoming famous, being so well known. I still don't know if he cares that much about the money. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. It's sort of hard to tell. Maybe it's irrelevant to a degree. But there seems to be this clear shift toward now not only like wealth and fame, but power. And there's a certain amount of power that you obviously get by being the richest person in the world. But he seems very bent on wanting to secure political power and influence by cozying up to, I think, who he assumes could be the most likely to just value loyalty and fealty above all. Which, based on some of the reports from folks at his companies and whatnot, seems to maybe be how he is as well. That, he could be cutthroat in a lot of sort of very capitalistic, intellectual ways, but there's also an element of, when all else is on par, you need to be loyal. I don't know. I'm taking a bit of that from some text messages that I had heard that he had exchanged with some other wealthy folks, and him not appreciating some of their comments on Tesla at some point, not being all glowing all the time. But I don't know. This is all anecdotal and secondhand hearsay. So, but the thing that sort of had me curious when you look at the timeline, I know there's been some info that's come out about one of his children being transgender, and him, I think he said he lost his son or something like that. That obviously is provoking of people who are trans or who are identifying a particular way. I just walked into a thorn bush. But it seems like now his focus is on fame, getting close to power, and just stirring the pot as much as he can. Whether that's with his own family or just with strangers or politicians or other famous and rich people, whatever. It seems as though he just wants to cause chaos, which in a startup environment, yeah, that's to some degree, less harmful. It can take a very harmful stature for sure, but that is a typical standard thing in terms of being a startup person, is you're going in as a chaos agent. You're going in to disrupt something, right? It's a very common term, disrupting an industry. But it seems like that's his goal right now, is disrupt society, disrupt the government, the political structure, whatever. And I don't know that he's sort of can be trusted with that. Can anyone? I don't know. But it seems to me sort of tied to this concept that he has of having lost this son and him not being able to deal with that. I know there's this story out there about his dad when he was young in South Africa, just berating him for an hour or more after getting, I don't know, bullied or in a fight at school or something along those lines. And it's something that like he shouldn't have been berated for, but that's what happened to him. And it wouldn't surprise me that if that was the household that he grew up in, or even if that was a singular experience that he had, if him having his own family and kids has caused a distinct disruption in his mind and in the things in which he can cope with in any particular way. And him not being able to understand the ability for trans people to come out and feel comfortable enough to say, this is what I am, this is who I am, so on and so forth. His discomfort with that and his inability to accept it feels to me like it could be tied to that childhood experience or experiences, if those are true. But it was just interesting to me that it seemed like timeline-wise, those things tied pretty closely together. 2020 and all the chaos that happened there, and then this view that he has of his child, or one of his children in particular. And it seems like something along the way here has broken him in a particular way, like you would break a wild horse. Feels to me like it has broken him in a particular direction, and he doesn't know what else to do, because in his world, right, being an agent of chaos, being a disruptor, is lauded, right? It's gotten him to be the richest, one of the most famous people in the world. And so, what would you do if you got if you had your mind and your view of the world and your view of family or whatever it is challenged and bent a certain way? You may revert to that concept of, I'm a disruptor. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to stir the pot as much as I absolutely can, and we'll find our way out of it, and we'll all be better for it. And that's just the feeling that I get on it. I could be totally off my rocker, and I'm supposing a bunch of things here that may be totally off base. Obviously, I don't know the person. I like to say if I did know the person, I'd still be out here in the woods, but I don't know. And yeah, it's been unfortunate to see, because to me, he was this person of hope and intrigue, and that feels to an extent washed away at this point to me. And it's just, he's now bent the knee and demeaned himself down to memes and I don't know, what do they call that war? The good, I'm far enough away from it I can't even recall what it is. But like the culture war, yeah, that's what it is. Culture war and politics, and it feels so beneath like the capacity and the capability that he had, and that his possibilities, his opportunity lied in staying above and beyond those things and still influencing them strongly while maintaining his own stature apart from it. And it just feels like he's mucked himself all up in the midst of it, feeling that he needs to, get close to power, stir the pot, and be as well known as possible, whether that is loved or hated. All right, folks, those are my 2 cents. Long, rambly one today. So I don't know if you made it this far. If you did and you walked with me, we got a little over 15 minutes in. So longest walk we've done yet, I think. And cool. Thanks for coming along, and I will see you in the next video.